How many times did the president's name appear?
I don't know.
It's your testimony. You do not know that answer.
The number of times, no.
Could you tell us how many agents were diverted for this task and what they were working on?
Well, when you say diverted, you make it seem as if agents were pulled off what they do all the time. Agents at the FBI masterfully do double duty and triple duty.
It's shocking to me that the FBI would think that erasing Mr. Trump's name from the Epstein files is a high priority when we have crime, we have national security threats, we have terrorism threats, we have murders such as that occurred, unfortunately, with Mr. Kirk. It's shocking to hear that that's your highest priority. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm concerned by reports that FBI agents have been diverted from their important work on crime and anti-terrorism to work on matters that are not critical to our safety. I'd like to play the video, the whole video
Jeffrey
clip.
Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean,
Oh,
there's...
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
But the Black Book is not just sitting, I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
In contrast to that attitude of let it all out, we're getting reports of actions that run contrary to getting everything out and that also involve diversions of FBI resources. For example, an FBI whistleblower reported that you were pressured by the Attorney General to place 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine roughly 100,000 Epstein-related records to redact President Trump's name from the files. Bloomberg reported this, that you directed FBI special agents from the New York and Washington field offices to join the Bureau's FOIA employees in Winchester and another building a few miles away, and that while reviewing the Epstein files, FBI personnel identified numerous references to Trump in the documents, and people familiar with the matter said that Trump's name, along with other high-profile individuals, was blacked out. Now, the New York Times reports, and this is a quote, Justice Department officials diverted hundreds of FBI employees and federal prosecutors from their regular duties to go through the documents at least 4 times, including once to flag any references to Mr. Trump and other prominent figures. Details of the review were based on accounts by 3 former FBI and Justice Department officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because of fears of retaliation, and further that the FBI finished, after they finished its review of the files and materials, was sent to a team of Justice Department lawyers who double-checked the FBI's redactions and, quote, were instructed to flag any mentions of Mr. Trump and other celebrities. Now, I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Patel, about this. First, how many times did President Trump's name appear in the Epstein files? Was it more than 100, more than 1,000? Were the agents who were pulled from their duties to redact the president's name from the Epstein files working on criminal cases or national security cases or child sex trafficking cases? And are the number of agents that have been reported diverted for these purposes, is that accurate?
No.
No what?
You asked if it was accurate. I said it wasn't.
So you're saying that none of this happened? That,
No, I'm saying it was inaccurate.
okay. How many times did President Trump appear in the Epstein files? More than 100? More than 1,000?
No, and what we've been able to release is what we've been legally able to release, and that has
No,
been
that's not the
provided to
question.
the
I
public.
asked you, how many times did the president's name appear?
I don't know.
It's your testimony. You do not know that
The
answer.
number of times, no.
Could you tell us how many agents were diverted for this task and what they were working on?
When you say diverted, you make it seem as if agents were pulled off what they do all the time. Agents at the FBI masterfully do double duty and triple duty. And because of the public's interest in this case, we flex resources to make sure that we could answer the public signal demand. So do you want us to look through the material and provide it to you, or you do not want us to do that?
So it's
Which
your,
one is it?
it's your testimony that no one was diverted from a criminal matter, that this was a top priority to go through this material to look for Mr. Trump's name. Is that your testimony? That's the highest priority for the FBI?
What's one of the most impressive things about the FBI leadership and the careers that are in place is that they make the decisions on who to send where on priorities and make sure the mission needs are not hurt. And that's what happened here.
It's shocking to me that the FBI would think that erasing Mr. Trump's name from the Epstein files is a high priority when we have crime, we have national security threats, we have terrorism threats, we have murders such as that occurred, unfortunately, with Mr. Kirk. It's shocking to hear that that's your highest priority. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I
That's
yield
literally
back.
not what I said.
What we just saw between Representative Zoe Lofgren and Kash Patel wasn't a routine back and forth in Congress. It was something far deeper. It was a moment where truth brushed against power and power flinched. Zoe Lofgren didn't raise her voice. She didn't grandstand. But what she did was far more powerful. She brought receipts, facts, and precision. She came with documented reports, timelines, and testimony that together painted a deeply troubling picture of what might be one of the most politically motivated misuses of law enforcement in recent memory. At the core of her questioning was a simple but fundamental demand: honesty. She wanted answers about the Epstein files, specifically about whether FBI agents, the people we trust to chase down terrorists, stop traffickers, and protect communities, were redirected from those life-saving duties to comb through Epstein-related materials for the sole purpose of redacting Donald Trump's name. Now, let's stop and sit with that for a second, because this is not a small allegation. It's not just political drama. It's about how deeply political influence can reach into systems that are supposed to be independent and objective. If what these reports say is even half true, then federal law enforcement was turned into a political cleanup crew. Think about the gravity of that. Thousands of agents, trained to fight real, violent threats, pulled from their posts to manage optics, to protect one man's reputation. That isn't law enforcement. That's damage control. That's propaganda in motion. And Kash Patel's responses only deepened the concern. When Lofgren pressed him, how many times did Donald Trump's name appear in the Epstein files? He couldn't answer. He said, "I don't know." When she asked how many agents were diverted or whether they were pulled off criminal cases, again, no clear answer. What's even more shocking is Patel's shift in attitude. Not long ago, he was on record saying that the Epstein Black Book should be made public, that people deserve to know who was involved. He presented himself as a crusader for transparency. But the moment the same principle threatened his own political circle, that transparency suddenly had limits. And that's exactly what Lofgren exposed: hypocrisy dressed as accountability. This exchange wasn't just about Epstein. It was about who gets to decide what truth the American public sees and who gets to hide behind redactions and secrecy. Because, let's be honest, the Epstein case isn't just one man's crimes. It's a symbol of how privilege operates in America, how certain names and faces are always protected while victims are silenced or forgotten. The idea that a U.S. president's name could be deliberately scrubbed from materials tied to a massive sex trafficking network should shake every one of us to the core. Because if that can happen, what else is being edited out? How much of what we see as classified or redacted is actually just protecting the powerful from accountability? Lofgren's approach here represents what real democratic oversight looks like. It's not about vengeance, it's about truth. It's about making sure power never gets so insulated that it can manipulate justice at will. And let's not lose sight of the victims in this. The young women and girls who were exploited by Epstein's network have had to watch for years as their abusers' connections to the elite were treated like tabloid gossip instead of evidence. They have seen their pain turned into a political football. When they hear that thousands of federal agents might have been used not to seek more evidence, but to hide certain names, what message does that send? That the system exists to protect abusers, not survivors. The real injustice here isn't just what was done, but what wasn't done. Every agent pulled off a human trafficking case to sanitize these documents is one less agent fighting to prevent another young girl from being hurt. That's the real cost of political interference in justice. It's not just corruption, it's human harm. Lofgren's disbelief in that hearing wasn't just outrage, it was heartbreak. When she said, "It's shocking that the FBI would think erasing Mr. Trump's name from the Epstein files is a high priority when we have crime, national security threats, and terrorism to deal with," she was voicing what millions of Americans feel, that somehow, under certain leaderships, justice became a matter of convenience. And Patel's dismissive response, claiming she misunderstood him, only underscored how detached some officials have become from the gravity of their roles. It's not about misunderstanding, it's about accountability, it's about public trust. Because when citizens begin to believe that investigations are shaped to protect the powerful, faith in the entire system crumbles. Let's be clear, this isn't about politics as usual, it's about the weaponization of secrecy.